Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the podcast where we sift through sources to find, well, the really interesting stuff for you.
That's right. And today, we've got something pretty compelling. It's excerpts from a book called Twisted Lies.
Yeah, and the dedication alone kind of sets the scene, doesn't it?
It really does. It says, for everyone whose favorite color is morally gray.
Okay, so definitely not your straightforward story, then.
Not at all. Our mission today is really to unpack the journey of two quite different people.
Hmm.
We have Stella Alonso. She's a fashion blogger, very determined.
And then Christian Harper, a security CEO. Sounds like an unlikely pairing.
Extremely. And we're going to look at how their lives get tangled up. It starts as this very practical arrangement.
Almost transactional, you could say.
Exactly. But then it morphs into something, well, much more personal, much deeper. We want to explore the surprises, the hidden reasons behind what they do, and just how their worlds collide and, frankly, change each other.
All right, let's dive in. Where do we start? The setup.
Let's start with Stella. So the sources introduce her as a magazine assistant, but also this up-and-coming fashion blogger.
Right, but she's struggling, yeah, trying to make ends meet.
Definitely. And there's a really big reason for that financial pressure. She's looking after Maura.
Maura, that's her grandmother figure.
Yes, exactly. A beloved figure who has Alzheimer's and lives in this place called Greenfield. It's a luxury assisted living facility.
Okay. Luxury equals expensive.
You got it. And the prices are going up. So Stella feels this immense pressure. She needs to land a big brand ambassador deal, specifically with Del Monte.
And hit that magic number on social media.
1 million followers. That's the target. So it's not just ambition. It's driven by this very personal need to care for Maura.
That adds a whole layer of complexity. 1 million followers, a huge brand deal, and her regular job.
Wow. It's a ton. And then her manager, Brady, throws out this idea.
Oh yeah, the fake boyfriend thing?
Find a fake boyfriend to boost her online profile.
Which sounds kind of crazy, but what does that tell you about her? Or maybe the influencer world itself?
I think both, really. It's strategic, maybe a bit desperate. It shows the lengths she's considering, and it definitely paints a picture of that influencer world, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And then while she's grappling with that, Christian Harper walks in, metaphorically speaking, at first.
Right. And he's presented as, well, almost unreal, sculpted by Michelangelo, CEO of Harper Security, this elite company.
And he owns the building she lives in, the Mirage.
The very one. The sources call him the most beautiful, most dangerous man she's met. He's all about logic, power, and cold, hard pragmatism.
Okay, polar opposites then. Stella, driven by emotion, family needs, considering this fake online persona.
And Christian, this powerhouse of logic and control.
So how on earth do these two end up in any kind of arrangement, let alone the one they form? The sources mention some, coincidental meetings. Plants.
Yeah, the plants thing is interesting. Stella starts caring for his dying plants, apparently in exchange for a break on rent. He even notes her magic touch.
Seems convenient.
Well, that's the fascinating part. Stella sees it as coincidence. But Christian, Mr. Logic himself, when coincidence comes up, he says something like, I believe in it more than you think.
So maybe not so coincidental from his end.
That's the hint, isn't it?
Yeah.
It suggests maybe he was orchestrating things, or at least more involved right from the start, even if he values logic above all else.
Okay, that definitely adds a layer of intrigue to Christian. So this initial setup, this pragmatic plant-carrying deal, it doesn't stay simple for long.
Not at all. Things escalate. Stella gets this huge opportunity, a dinner with Del Monte in New York. It's basically her audition for that ambassador role.
And guess who shows up?
Christian Harper.
Yeah.
Naturally. Unexpectedly.
Of course.
And there's this little detail, his quirk about hating corner seats.
How does that help Stella?
It means she ends up sitting right next to Louisa from Del Monte. Direct access. And Christian, despite seeming aloof, he clocks something.
What's that?
He tells Stella afterwards that Louisa likes her, after just 5 minutes. It shows this surprising perceptiveness under that cool exterior.
Huh. So he is paying attention, more than maybe he lets on.
Teams like it. And, speaking of perception, Stella's constantly comparing herself to this other influencer, Raya.
Right. Raya's success is tied to her relationship with some big shot influencer, Adam.
Exactly. Which you can imagine just reinforces that whole fake boyfriend idea in Stella's mind, like proof of concept.
So the pressure's on, and she goes for it. The fake dating thing.
She does. She posts her first picture with Christian. Just his hand on her thigh, caption, "Date night with my love 3."
And it worked.
Oh, it works. Big time.
Yeah.
Her follower count surges. Comments flood in curiosity, excitement, and as the source puts it, despair from hundreds of distraught men.
Huh. Okay, so mission accomplished on that front. But then we learn something about Christian.
Yeah, this is juicy. He has a burner account, a secret account just to watch the comments on her posts.
Seriously, Mr. Pragmatism is scrolling Instagram comments.
Apparently. And his reaction isn't pragmatic at all. He sees guys commenting like, ditch the brief, date me, and he gets really intense, possessive.
Like how?
The source says his eyes narrowed, and he thinks, no one touched her except me. It's a major crack in that controlled facade.
Wow. Okay, that's telling. So this isn't just business for him, even if it started that way.
Doesn't seem like it. And this is where we start to see more of his world, too. His inner circle Cage on his security team, Alex Volkov, who he plays chess with.
And Riss and Bridget, aren't they royalty or something?
They are friends of his. It shows the kind of circles he moves in. Very high level, very guarded.
But as Stella's profile rises and she gets closer to this powerful, possessive man, something else happens, right? Something dangerous.
Yeah, things take a dark turn. Her stalker, who seemed to be gone, resurfaces.
Oh, no.
Anonymous notes start appearing again, candid photos of her, and then this message. Really chilling. You were supposed to wait for me, Stella. You didn't.
That's terrifying. How does Christian react, given his newfound possessiveness?
Immediately. No hesitation. He moves her into his penthouse, flat out tells her, my apartment is airtight. No one can get in without my permission. You'll be safe there.
Wow. So full protective mode, even though it's still technically a fake relationship.
Absolutely. He even puts Cage on overnight security outside her door with the threat, touch her for any reason other than to save her life, and you die.
Jeez. Okay.
So what's fascinating here, right, is you have this guy who supposedly worships logic and pragmatism,
Yeah.
but his reaction is pure instinct, deeply protective, even when she's not his in any official sense. It really clashes with how he presents himself.
That contrast is stark. The cold CEO with this fierce protective streak. Meanwhile, Stella's dealing with her friends finding out, sort of.
Right. Jules, Ava, Bridget see the mystery man post.
Mm-hmm.
Stella has to explain, partially at least, that it's fake for a brand deal.
But she's hiding the bigger stuff. Mora's situation, the stalker.
Exactly. She feels like she's keeping secrets, letting people down, especially her family, who she feels she's a disappointment to. She's carrying a lot.
It sounds incredibly isolating.
It does. But interestingly, Christian starts to be a positive force beyond just safety. He encourages her actual passion.
Fashion design. I thought she'd given up on that.
She pretty much had.
Yeah.
But he sees her sketches, tells her they're beautiful, and adds, I don't lie to spare people's feelings. He even helps her draft a business plan.
Really? Mr. Security CEO helping with a fashion business plan?
Yeah. He's pushing her to reclaim that dream. It's another unexpected layer to him.
Okay, so things are getting seriously complicated. Protection, secrets, possessiveness, but also genuine encouragement.
It's a potent mix. And this is where that morally gray aspect really comes into focus. Their connection deepens way beyond the initial deal.
And we find out more about Christian's quirks.
Oh, definitely. Stella stumbles upon his dirty little secret.
Which is?
A collector's edition set of Spice World DVDs.
Wait, Spice World, like the Spice Girls movie?
The very same. Tucked between serious stuff like Reservoir Dogs. It's such a humanizing, almost funny detail. A crack in the terrifying persona.
That's brilliant. It shows there's something else under there.
Exactly. A hint of softness, maybe.
Yeah.
And alongside these little revelations, the physical chemistry just ramps up.
How so?
Well, there's a moment where Stella gives him a massage, trying to help him relax. Then they go on this photo shoot in Hawaii, and he gets very possessive.
Okay.
And then they cross a line, their first night together physically. It's described as intense.
What does he say? The source gives specifics.
Oh, yeah. Things like, you're fucking drenched, butterfly. Do you like this? And one taste isn't fucking enough. His kissing is described as hot and commanding, but with a whisper of sensuality.
Wow. Okay, intense is the word.
Definitely. And what's crucial is, as his intimacy grows, he starts opening up, slowly, about his past.
This is during a trip to Italy.
Yes. He reveals his father was an art thief called the Ghost, and that his mother died by suicide, left a note.
Oh, that's incredibly heavy. Explains a lot, maybe.
It does. And there's this painting, Magda. He hates it, but guards it fiercely. It becomes this symbol of his parents, his abandonment, all that unresolved pain.
So here's the real kicker then. Christian has always viewed love cynically, right? Because of his parents. He called it ego and destruction.
Exactly. He thought it was completely illogical. So how does this guy, steeped in that cynicism, start forming this obviously genuine, intense connection with Stella, especially while revealing all this trauma?
It completely contradicts his own beliefs about relationships and emotion.
That's the core tension. His actions with Stella, his feelings, they're fighting against everything he thought he knew about himself and love.
But just when you think they're maybe navigating this, finding some kind of real connection,
Yeah.
disaster strikes.
The huge one. Stella finds something. Files.
Files? What kind of files?
Extensive, incredibly detailed files. About her. Everything from pre-K, friends, family, college. Christian compiled them.
Wait, he was investigating her all along.
It seems so. A massive amount of information. It's a complete invasion of her privacy.
I can only imagine how she felt. Betrayed.
Utterly. She feels violated. The source says she felt he crossed many of the same boundaries as her actual stalker.
Oof. That's brutal. So she leaves.
She leaves his penthouse, understandably. It throws everything into question. How do you square that level of, well, surveillance with genuine affection or protection?
It's that line again, isn't it? Protection versus control. How can they possibly come back from that?
It seems impossible. But the narrative pushes towards, well, reconciliation. It starts with Stella facing her own family.
Yeah, the difficult family dinner, where they criticize her choices, her career, caring for Mora.
Yes, and in that moment, Christian steps up. Unexpectedly, fiercely, he defends her. Calls her one of the most selfless, creative, and brilliant people I know.
Wow, in front of her critical family.
Exactly. And that public defense, that unwavering support, it's huge for Stella. She realizes he sees her, truly sees her, and she finds the strength to stand up for herself, refusing to apologize. She recognizes he makes her feel okay being herself.
That's a massive moment for her own growth. What about the stalker, though? Does that get resolved?
It does. The stalker is revealed to be Julian, a reporter, but also a former classmate of Stella's.
How did he get so close?
Turns out he inherited an apartment in the Mirage, Stella's building, gave him easy access all along.
Creepy. How has he dealt with it? And Christian must have gone ballistic.
Christian handles it ruthlessly. Let's just say his methods are firmly in that morally gray camp. He also deals with a traitor within Harper Security, Cage, who was working with a rival firm.
Cage. The guy guarding her door.
The very same. And Christian's words to Julian are chilling. She'll never be yours. She was always mine. And your biggest mistake was hurting someone who was mine.
Yikes. Pure possession. So after all that trauma, the kidnapping, the betrayal of the files, does Stella go back?
She does. She makes the conscious choice to return to Christian's home. It's a huge step. She starts to accept his darker, more morally gray side.
How does she get past the files, the breach of trust?
She reads his personal letters. Letters that reveal his deepest fears, his vulnerabilities, and, crucially, how deeply he cares for her. It allows her to see the why behind some of his actions, perhaps, and to choose trust again.
So vulnerability bridges the gap, and then there's that painting, Magda.
Yes, in a really powerful, symbolic moment, Christian burns it,
Oh.
with Stella there beside him, letting go of that past trauma together.
A literal cleansing by fire. Wow. Okay. So they navigate the darkness. What happens next? Does Stella achieve her goals?
She does. The Del Monte campaign is a massive success. She gets profiled in Washington Weekly, and with help from her friend Bridget, she launches her own fashion brand, Stella Alonso.
Fantastic. She finally gets her dream.
And Christian makes the ultimate commitment. He proposes.
Where? How?
In Positano, Italy, gets down on one knee, diamond and emerald ring, the whole romantic ideal.
After everything, they get their fairy tale moment.
Seems like it. And then the final piece of their future. Stella's pregnant.
Ah. So they really build a life together. What does it look like down the line?
The sources give us a glimpse 5 years later. They're married, they have 2 children, Sophia and Nico. Their friends are still around. Reese and Bridget have a daughter too, Camilla. Life is busy, happy.
Has Christian changed? Still Mr. Logic?
He's definitely softened. He jokes at Stella's wheatgrass smoothies. But the implication is clear love, family, it's changed him. The lively banter with their friends is still there, suggesting they built this strong, supportive community.
So, quite the journey from fake dating and dying plants.
Absolutely. Which brings us back to that dedication, doesn't it? Morally gray.
Yeah. What does it all mean in the end?
Well, think about it. Stella and Christian's path was anything but conventional. It was messy, ethically ambiguous at times, full of secrets and betrayals. Yet they found a way to build trust, love, and a family.
So maybe love and commitment don't always look like the storybook version.
Perhaps. Their story really pushes you to consider what commitment truly means. Can love flourish even when things are complicated, when people are flawed, when actions fall into that gray area? What does their transformation tell us about finding connection and building a life maybe outside of what society deems normal or right? It's something to really mull over.